But the biggest pain of the city is visible in the cemetery in the village nearby. People from the town and the community are buried there. Initially, the military were given a place at the entrance, and their graves, like in all villages and towns across the country, are impossible to miss because of the blue and yellow flags. That small piece of land quickly ran out of space. Now the soldiers are buried at the other end of the cemetery. So far, there are only 17 graves there, says Oksana Tarasiuk, but the cleared wasteland for future graves is frightening. They say that time heals. It is not true, tell everyone. Time only dulls, Oksana Tarasiuk says at the end of the conversation. After his death, his parents were brought their son's belongings, including a phone that had been cleared of all memories. Oksana decided to keep it for herself. She admits that she sometimes calls her son, even though she knows that the phone he should have picked up is now in her hand. That night, the two of them went on a mission. His partner was a 19-year-old contract soldier. From the words of his comrades, Oksana knows that Serhiy was called a guardian angel for a less experienced soldier. He traveled with him for some time and provided insurance. The mother does not know exactly what happened. Her son's comrades in arms said that Serhiy and his partner were returning to the unit 3 kilometers away when they were covered by mortar fire. Serhiy covered the contract soldier with himself. The other guy was only wounded, but our son's head was blown off, his mother recounts from the words of his comrades. She was told that her son died at night, but the mother says that at 7:40 in the morning, he called her, although she could not understand a word, so he was still alive. After that conversation, I immediately said that my son was gone, but on Monday, the military enlistment office said it was not true. Wait 10 days, says Oksana. It was the 1st of October, and on October 6th, she was confirmed that yours was the 200th. Life after. On October 8th, Serhiy was buried. The coffin was closed, it was even wrapped in plastic, and we were not allowed to open it, she says. My father and I were not allowed to see it, but my brother, sister, and godfather went to look at the photo and recognized him. Why they didn't let me see it, I don't know. Maybe they know better. Now she realizes that she is still lucky. Some of the guys who were in those places with Serhiy were brought back a month later and some a year later. After her son's death, she quit her job as a cleaner in a nearby cultural center and moved with her sick husband to a dacha. Oksana says that the compensation for her son's death is being paid regularly. Millions of hryvnias were divided among the family members and will be paid for 4 years. Part of the payments went to the playground and the surveillance cameras around it, although Oksana says she decided to build the playground even before the compensation. It wasn't easy. They had to get permission from the city council and the approval of their neighbors. Then, they worked together to select swings and exercise equipment, helped carry sand and plant trees. Not everyone liked it, Oksana says. Some people were annoyed by the construction noise in the yard and the noise of the children. But now, it seems, everyone likes the changes. From time to time, Oksana comes to this yard from her dacha by bike. Now her daughter and her family live in the 9-story building. Whenever you're not here, there are lots of children. They are happy here, she says. Memory. On March 1st, Serhiy would have been 37 years old. Our family is proud of our son. He was not afraid to go to the front and died like a hero, says his mother. On his birthday, his family wanted to make him a present and created a petition to have Serhiy awarded the title of Hero of Ukraine. When we first started writing the petition, the commander said that Serhiy had already been nominated for the order twice, in Kiev, but everything was lost somewhere, so we decided to write it ourselves, because not everyone can protect another guy, says Oksana. 25,000 signatures were collected quickly. As soon as this happened, the parents were informed that their son had been awarded the Order of Bogdan Khmelnytsky, 2nd class. It must have been a coincidence, says Oksana. My parents went to Lviv to get the order. This is Serhiy's 2nd award. Another one was given by the mayor's office in Varash. There has been no response to the petition yet. The next step is to install a memorial plaque on the facade of the 9-story building. Today, such plaques can be seen on some schools in the city. Lyceum number 3, where Serhiy studied, is right across the street from his playground. I thought that if they put a sign there, I wouldn't do it on my house. But the school told me that a lot of their boys died, and they would come up with something after the war, says Oksana. So far, the school has painted a mural of a boy in a military uniform reading a book, and inside, they have set up a corner with photos of all the local soldiers who died for Ukraine. There is another photo wall in the students' room, as well as a list. It contains 97 fallen soldiers from Varash. 12 of them are graduates of the school, although the list may not have been updated yet. The oldest graduate who died was 36 years old. The youngest was 25. I studied at this school. Some of these guys are younger than me, and I remember them running around during breaks. My classmate is among them. A portrait of him, Serhii, and dozens of other boys can be seen in the city center opposite the city hall. Everything there is covered in flowers. Serhii Tarasyuk, a radio telephone gunner with the engineering company of the 24th Separate Mechanized Brigade, named after King Danilo, died on October 1st, 2022, in the Kherson region. He was 35 years old, the youngest son of his parents. Some people have grandchildren, but we have nothing after our son. We decided to make a playground to sit on a bench, look at other children, and remember our son. Oksana Tarasyuk, the military's mother, tells BBC Ukraine. The woman says she is pleased to see how many children now come here to use the swings and exercise bikes, and teenagers love the tennis table. It's as if life goes on. There was nothing like this here before. I passed by this yard for many years, hurrying to school, and I can only remember a single swing and horizontal bars. As it turned out later, my father had once installed them for Serhii and his older brother. Apparently, many children who come to play there today do not know to whom they owe these changes. There is no plaque with Serhii's name on it anywhere on the playground. But soon it will appear on the facade of the building. The family is still hurting over the death of their son, but they are proud of him. Don't go away, son. When the Great War broke out, the Tarasyuks, their children and grandchildren, the eldest son had just had a son, decided to go to the countryside to their dacha. The family has a large unfinished house there, and they live there from time to time. Varash is a quiet town, not far from the Belarusian border, home to 50,000 people. But there is the Rivne nuclear power plant there, and it seemed quite logical that after the Russians seized the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, this town could be the next target. Many people were leaving, Oksana Tarasyuk recalls. We stayed at the dacha for 2 or 3 weeks and decided that we would not leave. My younger son, Serhii, worked as a driver and started delivering humanitarian aid to the front. Even then, he started talking about joining the armed forces, but his mother was against it. I said, "Don't go, son, unless you get a call up, and don't go yourself." The call came at the end of April. Everything happened quickly, Oksana recalls. In the afternoon, Serhii packed his things, picked up the car, and left. The whole family saw him off in front of the military commissariat. For some reason, everyone decided to come, she recalls. She has a photo of that moment. It was the last time Oksana saw her son. A guardian angel, Serhii, like many soldiers, did not talk much about what he saw at the front. He said everything was calm. He didn't complain, even though we sent him parcels every other day. Clothes, food. They were bombed once and everything was gone. The next time, Oksana recalls, his family has many photos of his life during the war. Here is the car Serhii worked on. It can mine and clear mines. Here are the trenches where they lived, where they can see their weapons and a phone with a video on. Here he is with his comrades making barbecue. Here he is in Mykolaiv on rotation. There are such good people there, he told his mother. In many of the photos, Serhii is smiling, next to his fellow soldiers, or his friend Dmytro Tsyurko from Lviv. Dmytro also died. In March of 2024, his heart gave out. One can only guess how much remained behind the scenes. During his 5 months at the front, Serhii was in Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and then the Kherson offensive. Serhii didn't go on vacation, saying that people had children, but I had no one. I'll come back later. I have one more task. He said he would definitely come to dig potatoes. Serhii died in the Kherson region, in the recently liberated Bilohirka in Berislav district. He died when he covered another guy, a mechanic driver, his comrades told his mother.